Recording from the Mesa Gilbert line in Arizona, here's Paulson J. Healy.
On this week's episode, I interview Cassie Delliber, salon director from Maximum FX Salons in Austin, Texas. I think she gives great perspective for not being a stylist herself. I love her passion for fostering a great environment for clients and stylists, and I think you'll love this interview. Thanks for listening. Wherever podcasts are found, just search Hairdo Uncut. Thank you for making Hairdo Uncut part of your repertoire of podcasts. I am Paulson J. Healy, and I am excited about this interview, so please welcome on the podcast, Cassie Delliber. Hello, Cassie.
Hi, how's it going?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Cassie just got off work at Maximum FX Salons, and that salon, there's 3 locations, correct, out in Austin?
That's right.
All right, 3, because the third one's the new one. You guys just got the third one put in, right?
Well, we've had our domain location for over 3 years, but we recently moved into a brand new space. But we actually moved our South Congress location into a brand new space on South
Oh, so it wasn't adding a location, it was moving a location.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. So Maximum FX Salons is in Austin, Texas, and Cassie has been kind enough. She is the salon director. She is a salon director there. And before we jump into anything, I just want to give a little bit of background to this interview. I have a great deal of respect for the owner of Maximum FX Salons, Chris Murphy. He has always been so gracious in speaking with me as a young guy in the industry that I knew nothing about. He sat on the phone a couple times with me. He's emailed back and forth a couple times with me. Just super gracious. I reached out to him, was like, hey, I don't know if this is weird, but would you mind coming on the podcast? And he was like, how about I see if somebody wants to do it? And then he was like, Cassie, my salon director at one of my locations, would like to do that. And I was like, awesome. Perfect. And so, but with the success that he's had with them and with what we call team-based, being a team-based salon, we're going to get into that a little bit later, but he's been doing it for, I think 11 years, 12 years now, and I just have mad respect and a little bit of jealousy for it. And so hopefully we at Hairdo can scrape a teeny bit of success that Maximum FX has enjoyed to this point, but I wanted to shout out Chris before we get going. I'm assuming you like working for him as well, Cassie.
I do. Both owners at Maximum FX, our second owner, Javier, is actually behind the chair. But both of them are absolutely incredible to work for. In fact, it's actually one of the reasons that I decided to join the Maximum FX team when I was interviewing, was after being, shown the salons with Chris and having me introduce him to near 40 stylists, to just have him know such personal things about all of his employees, to tell me, oh, this is so-and-so, and they've worked here 10 years, and they have 2 kids, and this is their names, and this is what they do. And just to hear that he knew so much about everybody spoke volumes to me about what it was like to work for him. And that's been very true. Awesome. For sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so before we get into the interview, I just want to plug Maximum FX social media. You can find them on Instagram, Maximum_FX_salon. You can search for Maximum FX in Facebook, and then their website is MaximumFX.com. So let's get in. Let's introduce Cassie a little bit, even though she's already talked a tiny bit. I just want to introduce her, give her a little bit of background so that we've got a little bit of a foundation going forward. How long have you been the salon director, and would you elaborate on your duties as the salon director?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Maximum FX as the salon director for about 2.5 years now. As far as my duties go, I take care of a lot of general management things like salon upkeep, minor maintenance, inventory. I do scheduling and monthly goals, interviews. I deal with client conflict resolution.
Love it.
In addition to those like day-to-day duties, I also help with our email marketing, store presentations. I assist with event planning. And, above all, the most important thing that I do in my job is the coaching.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, and that's so awesome that you're able to handle all of those different duties. It's not being a salon director or a general manager is not an easy job, and it's not as easy as many people think it is.
There's a lot of different hats you must wear for
Yes.
sure.
So, what did you did reference it a little bit? What have you done in your career prior to this job, and what makes you want to stay and keep working in a salon environment?
Well, strangely enough, I'm not a hairstylist. I don't have a background in hair. My career was actually previously rooted in restaurant management. I did that for a little over 5 years, but my end goal there was always to switch industries before my son started school.
Gotcha.
I was pregnant and had my son while I was working in the restaurant industry. So being a mom and working 12 or more hour shifts and sleeping less than 5 hours,
No
working
way,
on
Jose.
weekends. Yeah. And just the complete lack of culture and employee value that comes in those environments was just never going to be long for me. I was really unhappy doing that. And I considered it more of just a stepping stone for my career and a way to be financially stable for myself and my son,
Yeah.
but never saw it as anything more. So when Chris reached out to me, I had put my resume on Indeed. And when he reached out to me and asked me to join him for a working interview, I thought, why not? And I was honest. I was like, I've never worked for a hair salon before, but I'm open to checking it out. And in the back of my mind, I was definitely really nervous about coming and interviewing, not just because I'd never done it, but because in my head, what I thought of a hair salon was, a bunch of gossiping and catty
Yeah.
girls and hostility. And I was like,
Yes.
I really hope it's
Yes.
not like that.
Eh,
And, from what I've all learned about salons, unfortunately, a lot of them are like that. But I
Yes.
got really lucky when I found this one because this one was not like that at all. From the very moment I came in for that working interview, everyone was so welcoming, and I was just surrounded by the most artistic and open-minded and creative people. And they're a huge reason I've been successful in my job. The best way that I've learned to describe the transition I've been through in switching industry, food industry is just so black and white, and
Yeah.
this industry is just so very, very gray. But my leadership is phenomenal. Helped me acclimate to this industry, and I still rely really, really heavily on my team leads to help with coaching and the technical aspects of my job. Uh, that's just one thing that not being a hairstylist, I will never be able to fully understand because I don't physically do it and never have.
Yeah.
But I love having that. I love having a team that comes together, and not just on the floor with the stylist, but a team that comes together in our leadership department as well.
Yeah. No, and you're right. And a few things that you said, I love the way you said it was that, in this industry, generally it's exactly how you thought it was, but it's so nice when clients and stylists can find a place that doesn't live up to the tropes and the how do I want to say it, the commonplace culture that many salons carry, and it's hard to get that way, but it's great to be able to maintain that. And it sounds like, not only did did you find a lucky job, but it sounds like they got a really great director and somebody who's not only open-minded but somebody who is about embracing that your position and that mentality of working together to accomplish goals. So I think that's awesome, Cassie. What do you've named a lot of things that are that you like about it. What is one of your favorite parts of the job that you have?
My favorite is probably the most important, and that's, like I said, that's the coaching. I love helping our staff grow and blossom into professional hairstylists.
Yeah.
There's just so much that goes into that process. There's so much emotional development that comes along with it, and to see that process happening, and it's just priceless. We hire a lot of our stylists out of school, and so we invest a lot of time and energy into their careers. So there's just so much growth to witness and be part of. I really feel like I'm making a difference with what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Um, No, and I totally agree. Being the general manager at Hairdo Salon and being able to work with some of our more senior stylists and making sure, and the owner making sure that not only skills are up, but everybody's kind of in a good mind frame and working together. And for us, we're still transitioning. We're still transitioning into this team-based mindset. The atmosphere at Hairdo was always really positive, but there's some nuances to a team-based model that is just still a little bit different. We're still transitioning, but it's been amazing. If I said the last year has been amazing for us, and so I applaud that, and I echo that sentiment. Um, so from a styling standpoint, services, what is, maybe the most popular, or what is Maximum FX known for down in Austin?
Well, we have a variety of things that we do. We are, in addition to being team based, we're also specialized. So we have colorists and cutters. So I'd say right now the majority of our color services are highlights and in general just helping to recreate a client's natural look by blending and or covering their grays.
Yep,
We've definitely been doing a lot more balayage in recent years as well.
of
And
course.
for cutting, I mean, we do it all. I've definitely seen the long layers and bobs being the most prevalent right now, though. We also do makeup updos, keratin treatments, extensions, we do facial waxing, and then the occasional perm.
You know what, and it's funny. Does everybody? I know that we've got a, do you have like a perm specialist, or does that, is it like a handful of people that do perms?
There are a handful of people.
And
She's
then
gonna laugh so hard if she hears this. I wouldn't say she wants to be the perm educator
Right.
or the perm specialist, but she totally is, just by default.
I've got, we have, most of ours are part time, but we have 2 stylists that do perms out of 16.
Yeah,
And
that sounds. We don't have very many.
well, nobody wants to do them. Even the 2 that do them, they're like, well, we'll do them, but I don't like it. So
Yeah,
they're the ones that
exactly.
take it for the team, and everybody thinks they're a rock star.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Definitely the same.
how is education in the salon conducted? How do you make sure that the stylists are not only great with their skills, but great in their customer service and their consultations? You alluded to that everybody is specialized, so kind of talk around that to make sure that, if everybody's going to be specialized in something, how do you guys tackle that education and make sure that everybody's staying up to date, because it can be easy in this industry to stop and then be done.
Yeah, absolutely. From the beginning, we certify our stylists in everything. And when I say everything, I mean even in hand massages. We give those when the clients are getting the blow dries.
Okay.
So they spend their first 1 to 2 months in blow dry training. Even though they finish school, we still put them through another month to blow dry training where they get certified in everything from shampoos to our stress relieving treatments. We visit chairside etiquette, which we revisit a lot in coaching sessions each month, even with our most tenured stylists. They are certified in product knowledge and blow dries. So they first practice on mannequins and then they move on to live models and they test out on all of their techniques before they are ever certified to take a paying client in the salon.
Yeah.
Now, that same thing is how we tackle our cut and color training. So since we are specialized, they choose their route when they're hired because we're only hiring usually for one or the other. But they choose their route and we have different educators in both departments that blocked out certain days of the week to do the training.
Sure.
It's designed to last about 6 to 8 months once they reach their specialty training. Start with a day a week, and then they move on to 2 as they progress in training and are able to tackle things more independently on their models. And that continued education that comes after that is huge. Maximum FX, the company actually pays for continued education classes for all of our stylists, and we actually require them to take at least 2 every year. And then the one-on-ones that we hold every month, that's just time that's blocked out. It allows uninterrupted, guaranteed time with the stylist and then myself and also a team lead. We use those to talk about performance and ask the stylist to bring their agenda of anything that they feel they need coaching on, anything that may have come up for them. And these are definitely never boring. I mean, we talk about everything from issues with the more technical part of the job to issues with just maintaining their happiness at work. Nothing in there is off limits.
Right. No, and that's that's something that's so interesting in this industry. Because so many. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the life, not the life expectancy, but the career expectancy of a stylist is 5 years, and so keeping that happiness with them so that they can have a career, not just a short-term job, is so important. And so those one-on-ones are really, really important. We've been trying to do a better job of doing them. We, like you said that you guys do them once a month, right?
Yes.
Wow, that's really good. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're like every other month. I mean, we do the quarter. We are religious on the quarterlies, but our monthlies are a little bit rough. So No, that's awesome, and I love that, and it's again, we've talked about it. I've talked about it on this podcast. I talk about it with people all the time, especially with the owner that we have at our salon, Suzanne. Education is just so important, and I don't think some people just realize how important it is, even if it's something a little bit more rote or something that they've done a lot of times, how much they can just glean a little bit to make their lives easier. So it's just really important, and that's awesome. You guys do that. How have you seen? You've alluded to it, but I want to kind of get more specific with the benefit of being a team-based salon. You're actually the first salon that I've talked to who is a team-based salon on this podcast. Not the first one that I've ever talked to or met, but how have you seen that it's been beneficial for the stylists at Maximum FX? And what's been like
Yeah,
their
so I mean,
feedback,
the
like their
culture for
feedback to you?
yeah. So allow me my cliche moment of the day here, please. But
Of
teamwork
course.
makes the dream work. It really, really does. So when you all come together for that common purpose or goal, the result of that is so much more impactful than a bunch of individual achievements being constantly overshadowed by one another. I'd say that's the best way I could sum up what it's like to work in that environment, because everyone feels like someone has their back instead of like someone's trying to stab it when they're not looking.
Right, right. And do you seem to get because there's a lot of because being a team-based salon is still really kind of like this newer, even though it's been around for a long time. And shout out to Neil Dukoff for being awesome, but at Strategies. But it's still a new concept in the mindset of the industry overall. And especially for stylists, what has the feedback been from stylists? Like, how do they express it? You know, I'm sure there's older stylists that have, I mean, do you guys only hire from school or do you guys hire outside stylists to come in often? I guess. Yeah.
We definitely do both. The majority is from school. Every time I do a salon tour, we have the schools that actually come in and tour the salon. One of my first questions I'll ask is like, raise your hand if you know what a team-based salon is. And almost no one ever raises their hand. So
Right.
it's my
Right.
first thing to explain.
Yeah.
And we do have a couple of stylists that have been with us long enough to where, like, years and years ago, when we transitioned from being commission to team-based, we have a couple stylists who have been here for both of those. And so they've seen both ends. And then we've hired a couple of different stylists who came from commission or booth rental environments, and they just fell in love with the idea of being
Yep.
team based, and even more so when they were involved in it. It's again just
Yep.
people have your back. There's none of that like competition. It's like I can come to work and be happy. I can come to work and really enjoy being with my clients. I'm not trying to sell people things that they don't need.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
getting to be a true stylist and not have to worry about all that extra stuff that comes with it with the industry.
No, and it's totally true. One of the things that shocked us was, because we were a rental / commission salon beforehand, and when we transitioned, most of the renters left, and they were used to that, and that was no problem. But the ones that have stayed on have immediately seen the benefits. So the ones who talk to the stylists who were commissioned beforehand or were assistants before, and they're like, oh well, maybe I want to, and they're like, you just don't understand. Like it's really good to have all these things provided for us, and you have a life when you get home, not I have to do hair all the time at home. So it's just I'm with you with the people who have come in. You saying outside stylists are just like, wow, this is amazing, and the stylists here that were rental before, they're like, no, this is how I can keep doing hair, because a lot of them were like, I was feeling burnt out before we did this. So it was very, very eye-opening. And so how do you see it? So now we've talked about a little bit about how team-based has kind of helped stylists, or what stylists may be saying. What about how they serve the clients? And you did allude to a little bit of being able to have whoever needs to jump in and help out can do that, which I think benefits the stylist, but it also benefits the client's time. But what else have you seen from a client standpoint where they're benefiting from the team-based environment?
Yeah, here it's truly about the client. And I think whereas other business models by default can kind of become based around that I, me mentality. It's just, like I said, by default, it kind of just becomes that. So this team-based model allows for a much stronger culture and a happier work environment, which is the foundation for low turnover in staff and therefore in client retention.
Yeah. No, totally. And so what do you think? What do you think are a few things that people should look for in a salon or in a stylist? Like, what have you noticed in the 2.5 years that you've been working in the salon industry? What would those three things be that they need to look for?
I'd say number one, you should definitely look for a salon that provides continued education. That is huge in such an innovative industry.
Yep.
Number two, a stylist who practices active listening and asks questions back to the client. And three, a salon environment that fosters good communication and mutual respect among the staff, because that's how we exceed our clients' expectation every time.
Awesome. Awesome. Great answers. Those are great things. I hope everybody wrote those down. Um, so, biggest barrier for stylists. What have you noticed that are biggest barriers for clients and stylists when they first get together to get like a real good rhythm going, or when clients first come to Maximum FX salons? Because a lot of people don't know what team based is. So when for us, for example, we would be like, oh hey, so just so you know, like if this stylist is busy, you can go over to this stylist, and they're like, why are they pushing me away? We're like, no, you just have options, right? So what have you noticed that takes a while for clients and stylists to get in a good groove together?
Sure. This is actually probably my favorite question. I'm going to answer it in a couple different ways.
Awesome.
So for stylists, if we can separate the two, stylists early on in their career, they usually encounter this problem of being unable, to connect with some of their clients. And that's their words. I can't connect with a lot of them. They start seeing only how they're different versus how they're the same. So we have some stylists just now entering their 20s. So to expect them to just know how to talk to a 65-year-old woman,
Yeah.
two kids and seeing the world, that's sometimes a much larger task than you might even imagine or even think about.
Yeah.
So the result of that is imbalance. They start talking either way too much about the professional side and they overwhelm a client, or way too much about themselves or personal topics and not enough about the hair, that professional trust.
Yes.
Or they pretty much just don't talk at all, which doesn't foster any emotional connection and leaves the client feeling disliked or unwelcome or just indifferent about their experience. So it takes a lot of coaching in the beginning on that particular skill, not just with the young stylist, but with a lot of stylists. And then the second part of that is for the client. For the client, I think it's trust. So the most common complaint we hear from our new clients when they first come in to see us is that their previous stylist didn't listen to them.
Yep.
So to combat that, we put a strong focus on active listening in our consultations, and we make sure we ask things like, what did you like or dislike about your previous stylist? Or what do you like or dislike about your hair now? What's your lifestyle like? Do you blow dry your hair? Do you air dry your hair? And that consultation piece is so huge. It's listening
for sure
and deeper questions as a stylist. You could be looking at a picture that someone brought in that they said they liked, but if you don't break that down enough and ask deeper questions, you may miss that they actually liked the front piece of those bangs and how the balayage is painted in that one area, not the entire thing itself.
Yes. No, that's spot on, and that is an fantastic answer, Cassie. For
Thank
sure.
you.
What and you answered the other question that I was going to ask about what clients should know going into an appointment. I think it's research on the salon. Are they continued education, expectations of their hair, listening to the stylist? I think those are all great advice. Let's talk a little bit about hair care in Texas. What seems to be a constant struggle among clients with their hair in Texas, or does it just vary by hair type?
I think in general, we have a lot of frizz due to humidity and the dryness of the hair.
Yes.
And I mean, we also have really hard water, at least here in Austin. So counteracting the harsh additives in our water is another kind of constant struggle.
So what do you do to counteract that hard water?
Well, we make sure and we educate our clients about the environmental aggressors of all types and what they do to the hair. We just try to provide the most clear and simple solution that we can and recommend things to the client so they can be both proactive and reactive to their hair issues.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, we often have to explain the difference between dry versus damaged hair because the client may be taking care of the wrong issue completely if they don't know the difference.
Nope, totally true. That's awesome. You guys are fantastic. How do stylists? Well, nope, you got that. Why? What? So, because of that, let's talk about why it's important for clients to take products home.
So besides the one I just answered, it's because if the client goes home with a phenomenal haircut or amazing color and they don't get properly educated on how to take care of that and style it at home, they're going to do what they know how to do. They're going to go out, they're going to go get the cheapest grocery store hair products they
Yep.
can. They're going to take care of it however they know how to. And then when it doesn't look good, they're going to blame the cut or the color for why their hair doesn't look good. Not the
Yes.
products, not the air dried style on the cut that requires styling. The products are just so huge in retaining clients. They need to be able to have a style that is manageable for them day to day so they can feel just as great every day as the day that they left the salon. Otherwise, to them, the problem is always going to be our work.
Yes. And just to piggyback off of that, it's so funny because you don't need I feel like a lot of clients think that they need a ton of different hair products when they don't. They don't need to have 10 products in their cabinet that they never use or they don't know how to use, so they just kind of go with the flow. That customization to their hair, especially someplace in like Texas where frizz obviously is going to be an issue. It's not quite an issue here in Arizona. We're a little bit drier, so we deal with dead hair.
Yeah.
But if clients understood the value of a salon grade product and how to use it, it would be useful to them. But a lot of them, like you said, they get into this rote, like this is how I've always taken care of my hair. Nobody's really teaching me otherwise, and it's fine. It's not my favorite, but it's comfortable, and that's why I really want to encourage any stylist that may be listening that educating clients on the products that you're going to be using builds value more than you may think, because if they know how to do their hair, they know how to make themselves confident in their hair and feel beautiful, then it's a game changer for them on a day-to-day basis, because you don't get to follow them. You don't get to
Yeah.
follow them around.
And I think that that's trust too, because you don't want to send a client home with something that's just going to sit, like you said, and be one of those 10 products in their cabinet. I mean, you want, when they look at that product, to just see hearts and rainbows in your stylist face. Like, you want them to
Yes.
just have great memories and be excited to see you again because you did so good for them in their life.
Yes, and that was one thing that it took a long time for the stylists to really, not a long time, but it's taken a while for some stylists, even at the salon here at Hairdo, to really understand, like, if somebody can have great hair and know how to do it at home, it's totally transformed their lives, because then they don't just have to put it up in a ponytail or feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and then they go to a YouTube video and the blogger who doesn't have hair like them says do it this way, use this product, and then it's not customized to their hair. And it's just so important, not only in retaining but in just making somebody's life a little bit easier or better. So I am totally with that, Cassie. Great answer. You are awesome.
Thank you.
This has been an awesome little interview. I hope everybody took something away from this. Real quick, I want to find Maximum FX on Instagram, maximum_FX_salon, and then their website, maximumfx.com. And the show, if you want to email the show, hairdouncut@gmail.com, and always follow Hairdo on all different platforms, hair_do_salon. Thank you so much for taking some time, Cassie. I really, really, really do appreciate it. I hope it was a positive experience for you.
It was great. Thank you again for having me
All
anytime.
right. Have a great day.